Cancer, welcome to your weekly tarot reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone, so make sure to check out your other placements. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I am offering my May promotion all summer. I've decided to extend it. So have a look at the description below, because if you've been looking for a reading, it's a good time to get one. All right, let's have a look here for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is the energy for Cancer? Okay, we're seeing the Five of Pentacles here, Cancer. So that makes me wonder if you're focusing on losses, setbacks, rejections. There may be something in your energy right now that sort of got you focused on being out in the cold from something, feeling rejected or feeling like that there's setbacks and losses going on around you. That's interesting. Let's see what could the obstacle be in this situation. Okay. Oh, wow. 3 cards. So the obstacle looks like it has to do with your thinking about the future. And you know, I see that in this 3 of Wands where you're sort of dreaming really big about something, but then immediately saying, well, that's not going to work. That'll never work. And then getting caught up in the drama and the emotions around that emotional intensity that your thinking is creating. Like our thoughts impact our emotions impact our nervous system, and that all changes your vibration and your energetic sort of frequency. And so if you're focused on losses happening in the future around something that you're dreaming big about, and you're sort of saying, well, that'll never work out for me, with this Wheel of Fortune in reverse, saying that I only experience misfortunes, or only, things never work out for me the way that I want them to. And then seeing this King of Cups here in reverse also makes me feel like that is really impacting the emotional intensity of whatever's happening around you, because you're sort of narrating this story to yourself that says, unless I can control every bit of this, it won't work out for me. That when things are left outside of my control, they don't work out. It's interesting. Let's see, what's top of mind for you right now? Yeah, there's the Magician in reverse. So it's like you don't think you can have an impact on something to turn it around. You're sort of not focusing your energy in a way that serves you right now. You're focusing it in a way that is leading to losses and setbacks when it comes to something that you really are desiring here in the future with that 3 of Wands. It's like you're already making decisions about your future and saying, no, it won't work. Or you're putting a limit or a ceiling on something that is limitless. And it's like, wow, interesting. Seeing the Magician in reverse in that position tells me that right away that you have to change your conscious beliefs. You have to change the narrative right now. It's very important. If you take nothing else from this reading, if you just decide to close the window right now and move on to another video, take that one message at least, that your narrative is wreaking havoc on your future right now. So you're setting up the story right now for what's coming up, and you're already putting an obstacle here, a limit there, a ceiling here. It's interesting, and I think it's because you don't trust yourself for some reason. You're lacking the confidence in yourself right now, from what I see on the bottom of the deck. Let's see what the root is. What's driving this for, that's too many cards. Let's see what's at the root of this. What's driving this feeling for Cancer right now, where they don't trust themselves? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Hierophant in reverse tells me that there's outdated systems, outdated beliefs, outdated structures in your life that are no longer serving you. And they're blocking you. So it's all coming to the surface in the hopes that you'll rewrite this narrative with this energy, this King of Wands, which is timeless, which is a visionary, which is ultra successful and confident, and pursues what really feels like it's in alignment with confidence and knowledge that I got this. And it's like the narrative is very different. The narrative of the King of Wands is very different than the narrative of the Magician in reverse. Very different narratives. So really needing to change that narrative is coming through very strongly for you, Cancer. Let's see here. What's the past energy? What's the past influences on this situation? The Hangman in reverse. So in the past, it may have been difficult for you to sort of see things from a different perspective. Your thinking may have been very narrow in the past around something, and you may have sort of started this thinking that things don't work out for you in the past. That may be where this began, you know what I mean? And seeing the Hangman in reverse can often be a signal that we've stagnated and we're self-sabotaging through our thoughts. And you're holding on to something that may not be meant for you in sort of a stubborn way to say, I'm going to be in control of this situation. And it's like, the universe is like, I don't think so. The only thing you're in control of is the narrative and your response. But I'm going to bring a bunch of redirections here to get you to your highest path. And we'll see if you're able to let go of what's stagnating, right? What's out of date, what's no longer serving you. Will you continue to sabotage yourself by insisting that you have to be in control of the situation? Bottom of the deck is the Eight of Cups in reverse. So that says that there may be something you need to let go of or walk away from that serves as a very strong emotional attachment, but no longer serving you. So what are you hanging on to that's not serving you here, Cancer? Very similar to Gemini's reading. That question came up. Let's see what the future energies are here for Cancer. Seeing that self-sabotaging energy continue on. Look at that. Knight of Wands in reverse is often a time of self-sabotage where we sort of see where our highest good is, but for some reason we just end up going in a different direction. And typically it's because we're trying to control the situation and not feeling like we're willing to surrender to the circumstances shifting around us. It's a very interesting dance that we play here on Earth. In some cases, we need to surrender. In other places, we need to take action. And sometimes we need to be in control of a situation because it's in our control. And sometimes we're not in control of the situation, so we need to just sort of let things happen and then work on our reaction or response to these things. You know what I mean? But the Knight of Wands in reverse is a time of self-sabotage through unfocused energy that we saw here in the Magician in reverse. And also this idea of hanging on to things that are no longer serving us. More self-awareness is required here. More self-awareness is a guiding message for you. And as I say that, I see the High Priestess on the bottom of the deck, which is your inner voice. This is your inner guidance system. So more self-awareness is really required here, Cancer. Really tapping into your self-awareness is going to serve you right now. So if you take nothing else from this reading, take that at least. More self-awareness is required. Okay, let's see. How does Cancer feel about themselves right now? How does Cancer see themselves? Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Cancer. You're feeling like so much lack. I feel like you're really focusing on those setbacks in such a strong way. We saw that Five of Pentacles to start your reading, which is setbacks and losses. And seeing this says that that's the narrative right now that you're holding, is that nothing ever works out for me in the long run. Like, I feel like you're really convincing yourself right now that something's not going to work. Something's going to fail. Something is negative around you. And it's like this is really sharing sort of this place that you may find yourself right now where it just feels so focused on lack. And it may be sharing with us, your reading is sharing with us that your perspective is out of balance. It's overly focused on loss, lack, setbacks. And it almost feels like there's a part of you that feels like you're not doing as good as you could be. You know, like when I see the Ten of Pentacles in reverse in that position, often I wonder if the person I'm reading for is comparing themselves to others and thinking, how come I don't have what they have? Or how come they have that and I don't? They don't deserve it as much as I do, or they didn't work as hard for it as I am, you know? And it's like, that could be unfocusing you right there. Right there, you're unfocusing your energy by entertaining such questions, because other people's journeys are other people's journeys. Doing comparisons will always lead to an illusion, because you really have no idea what's going on over there. You just know what it looks like from your perspective. But it's very interesting. It really feels like you don't think good things will happen for you. And so with that as your focus, your mind's like, okay, I guess I'll go find evidence for that, because that's what our minds do. They find evidence for things, right? So if you're telling yourself, well, nothing ever works out for me, and this is no exception, this isn't going to work out for me either, because I feel like you're focused on something in particular, and you're using evidence from the past to say, well, it didn't work out then, it didn't work out then, it didn't work out then, so why should I think this is going to work out? And it's like this self-fulfilling prophecy that is working against you. It's working against you. So shift it so it works for you instead of against you. And I that sounds simpler than it may seem, but it's really not. It's really just taking the same amount of energy that you're focusing on this and focusing it here instead, right? That's just choosing what you're focusing on, but using the same amount of focus. Now, let's see, how do other people see Cancer at this time? What's your outward expression? See, your outward expression, we're seeing Temperance in reverse, which says to me that you're not being patient, you're not trusting the timing of things, you're resisting the timing of things, you're sabotaging things with your thoughts and beliefs. You know, it's interesting, Cancer. It feels like you're not grounded. You know, it feels like you're just not grounded in the present moment. You're not focused on where you need to be focused on. Like, it's interesting. It's like there's this disharmony within yourself right now that's creating this polarity. It almost feels like oil and water clashing. And no matter how many times you try shaking the bottle to mix the oil and water, it's not in your control to do that. But it is in your control to change the narrative. It's like the things that are in your control, you're not using them in a way to serve you. You're not using those tools to help serve you. But it feels like instead where your focus is trying to make other things happen that are outside of your control. It's very interesting reading. I feel like you have control over certain things, but the way you're actioning those things isn't serving you. And then the things that aren't in your control, you're trying to control those things, but that's actually outside of your control. I hope this is making sense, because it's very interesting. Bottom line is that there needs to be a big shift here. There's the Death card confirming that there's something that really needs to change here. There's something that needs to be realized. There's almost this self-awareness that needs to be tapped into. This self-awareness that needs to be tapped into so that you can realize what this transitional energy is all about and how to not resist it, how to continue to work with it instead of working against it, which is really coming through strongly here for you, that you may be working against yourself. Let's see what the hopes and fears are here. The Fool in reverse. So your hopes and fears are in doing something differently, in taking a leap of faith, in being bold enough to trust yourself. It takes boldness to trust yourself, because, you know, when you look at this card really carefully, where are his eyes? He's looking up. He's not looking, he's in a mountain range, for goodness sakes, right? Like, he's up in the mountains and he's not even looking at where he's walking, because that's how much he trusts himself. That's how much he knows that he's on a new journey, and that if he just keeps walking forwards, the next step will appear for him. And you're getting this card in the reverse. And you also got the Magician, which is the card that follows the Fool. Card 0 is the Fool. Card 1 is the Magician. You got both of these in reverse. So your conscious mind is focused on, it's unfocused actually, and it's very scattered, and it's not guiding you to be bold where you need to be. It's actually sort of making you maybe feel a little bit like this isn't attainable. So then there's this self-sabotage that happens. And so your hopes and fears are all surrounding new beginnings. I think you're impatient right now about a new beginning, but at the same time, you're sort of sabotaging the new beginning with your beliefs. And it's very interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Swords, where you're deceiving yourself. You're convincing yourself of something that is not serving you. You're not working with the energy, you're working against it. And that's really coming through strongly as a message for you to be aware of, and to, generally speaking, just increase the self-awareness around you right now, because I feel like once you do and you're really honest with yourself, you'll see what you need to do, and where you need to shift, and where you need to be patient, and where you need to change your beliefs, and look at where your energy is right now and how to focus it on what you desire, so that you're working with the energy instead of working against it. Let's see what the potential outcome is here for Cancer. Look at that. Ten of Cups is your potential outcome. Knight of Cups is your potential outcome. But look what's also there. Fear, overthinking, and self-imposed restriction. So I think the final outcome is really clear here. You could be moving towards your emotional fulfillment if you trust yourself, and if you move to the beat of your heart, and you sort of really allow yourself the space to believe that this is possible. That's step one, is believing it's possible, where that's working with the energy, right? This Eight of Swords is reminding you that as you continue to sort of deceive yourself, like we saw in that Seven of Swords, you continue down a path of self-imposed restriction. And that's not serving you. It's only amplifying the fear of the unknown, and the fear to be bold, and the fear to take a leap of faith towards what you really desire. Believe it's possible, Cancer, and it's yours. Believe it. Honestly, like, this has been such a fascinating reading. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. It's still the Seven of Swords, where you've got to increase the self-awareness to see where you're not being honest with yourself, or where you're working against yourself in your thoughts and narratives and beliefs. Because I feel like you could have whatever you desire, but you've got to believe it's possible first. Let's see what message we'll receive here to close this reading for Cancer. Highest guidance for Cancer for this week ahead. Let's see. Okay, I saw a fork in the road for sure. Okay, fork in the road says, you got two cards. Fork in the road says that you have a directional decision here, and it's a very important one. So what are you going to choose? Which way are you going to go? Are you going to work with the energy, or are you going to work against it? That's up to you. I think you have a very strong choice to make here. Seeing this card also come through, this leg up card in reverse come through as well. Sorry, everything's tipping over. Says to me that you don't have to figure all of this out on your own, Cancer. You can ask for help and support, but you just have to be open to it. Again, I can't help but feel like you have to be open to receiving guidance from your inner self, and to increase that self-awareness to a place that says, you know, if I ask for support and guidance, maybe I'll receive it. And you will. There is no maybe. I'm just saying the maybe right now because I think you're insisting on sort of doing this all on your own. So you may have to be vulnerable and ask for help. You may have to realize that you have to shift your own expectations, which seem to be focused on things not working out. And you sort of may need to realize that by shifting your expectations and maybe letting others support you, guide you, help you, you're really working with the energy here. And being vulnerable is not a bad thing. It's actually quite good for us to be vulnerable, because then it allows us to be bold. They come together, those two things, you know? All right, I'm going to leave it at that for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again. I'm sending you so much love and encouragement. Take care, my friends.